What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy KETNEL'S. We're back at it again with another video. And as an artist with over 2.5 million streams, I thought I'd take this opportunity and share with y'all, lift the curtain, show you how much money I've made, because I feel like there's some people out there painting a bad image that, oh, artists are broke, this and that. Yes, it's hard. Yes, like it is hard. But at the same time, you cannot say there aren't artists out there that are independent making a good amount of money. If you sign up with a label, you kind of fucked up yourself in some shape or form badly in that essence. But if you're independent, you know what you're doing, you've made the right choices, you didn't get yourself into debt, any of that, there's really no reason why you should be broke if you're doing the right thing. So all right, so we're gonna be answering a couple questions, right? First thing is, like, what are monthly listeners, right? So that this whole thing can make sense. So monthly listeners, you see me right now, I'm sitting at 15,582 monthly listeners. We go to other people, like Lil Uzi is sitting at 27 million monthly listeners, or we can go to some indie artists, 3.4 million. I Love You Tommy, stuff like that. Right now, that doesn't mean shit to you. You're just saying, okay, 3.9 million monthly listeners. That in its essence, when I see that, I see money. You know, I got an idea of how much money this person is probably making if they've done things right, you know? So a monthly listener is someone that has consumed your songs, that has listened to at least one of your songs once in the past 28 days. So if we look at my boy I Love You Tommy right here with 3.9 million monthly listeners, that means he had 3.9 million individual people listen to at least one of his songs once in the past 28 days. You know what I'm saying? So when you were looking at Lil Uzi with 22, that's how many individual people have listened. Now, mind you, you have super listeners, you have casual listeners, you have different types of listeners and fans, right? Because not all fans are created equal. Not all fans consume different artists equally the same. No, like I have my artists that I listen to almost every single day, and I probably consume their content like tens of thousands of times in a year, you know, if not thousands, right? For somebody that listens to music a lot. And then there's also artists that I listen to maybe once a year or maybe once a month, you know. So there's different. A bulk of the money that's gonna be made from people in the music industry or from your super fans. That's why they always say, if you can get 10,000 super fans, and what is a super fan? Somebody, you know, that'll buy your merch, somebody that'll listen to all your new drops, that genuinely cares and checks up on your stuff. You know, if you could get 10,000 of these people, you're straight. You'll be able to live out your dreams, your wildest dreams, with just music, you know, with that. And out of these people with like 3.9 million monthly listeners, I guarantee you they at least have like a 10,000 super listeners, you know what I'm saying? So they're living good, I promise you, as long as they didn't fuck themselves up with a bad deal with the label or something like that. So that's the first thing. Now that you know what a monthly listener is, we're gonna go to part number 2, which are how do we as music artists get our music out there onto those things, such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, all those stuff. There are streaming platforms out there where you can directly go on the streaming platform, create an account, and upload your music. But for most of them, you have to go through a company, you know, that is a music distributing company, such as TuneCore. Let's search them up right here. Let's put that. Music distribution services. You have DistroKid, you have TuneCore, you have Lander, there's a lot more. SoundCloud. SoundCloud is one of the more unique ones because they allow you, just like YouTube, you create an account, you can directly upload your videos onto fucking SoundCloud without having to go through another company. But these companies, depending on which ones you choose, will also affect your music career in more ways than you think, because it's a partner. You know, you want to choose your business partners wisely. So, oh my God. I don't know, the brightness or whatnot. So you want to choose your business partners wisely, and that's a video for a whole other day. If you guys want me to break down, I've had experience with the companies, some of them personally, and I also did a lot of research before I chose one, because once again, if you choose one and let's say you release like 50 songs, 40 songs, it is gonna be a nightmare switching over, because you have to copy the data like literally for like word for word. You know what I'm saying? So that you don't lose any of your streaming data, any of that. It is going to be hard. So it's better to do your research, find out what your true intentions are and stuff like that, and see which one will probably work for you. And when I say true intentions, it's because there's some people out there that just find unreleased music from other people, like Juice WRLD. They've been doing that a lot to Juice WRLD, and they'll release Juice WRLD's music through their own name and collect some funds and shit like that, whatnot. TuneCore, which was what I use, would not be the best music distributing company for that, because they're like an older brother, you know. They've been in the company, in the business, they're one of the companies that's been in the business the longest, right, when it comes to that field. And they truly look out for people, because lawsuits and shit like that can get, you know, it's a setback for not only them but for you, a headache not only for you but for them. So they look out for you, and if they see you going in a way that, you know, isn't the best, they'll try to help guide you. So you have that as well, right? So now let's get back into it, right? The next question is how much does these companies, like different streaming services, will pay you differently, right, for your streams, you know? So the two biggest ones out there are Spotify, I believe, is the biggest one, and then Apple Music, you have them second, the two biggest ones, and then you have SoundCloud and some other stuff. Spotify pays let me get my calculator in this bit. Spotify pays 0.003 cent for every stream, right? For every stream. So let's find this man, you know, that was clowning me for some bullshit that he said, which I was like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem to align with what I'm seeing on my end, even while being conservative. But they wanted to clown me.
A lot of people who love Sonos speakers. On top of Sonos, they are working with 15 cents USD, which comes out to around 4.
Okay, so he's right on this point, right? 0.003 to 0.005, yeah.
$1,000 per million streams.
So I don't know how the fuck he gets
streams
this wrong
on every track, but that simply isn't 350,000. They're only getting like $1,400 a month off of Spotify.
Okay, rewind this shit. Imagine 300,000 people have seen this, right? 300,000 people have seen this shit.
That simply isn't the case for the majority of artists. For example, I'm a big fan of this band called Origami Angel, and based on their average monthly listeners of 350,000, they're only getting like $1,400 a month off of Spotify, which most definitely is not livable.
My nigga! Okay, look, I wouldn't be reacting this way because it pissed, because I went in the comments, right, in a respectful fucking manner. I explained to this guy, you are wrong. You're just wrong. You're wrong. You're only getting $1,400 a month from 356,000 monthly listeners. You're wrong. You're wrong, nigga. You're wrong. Like, and then here's gonna be the most aggravating part. Look at me right here, right? I want to say 300k listeners, right? Fucking generates 1.4 thousand, you know, 1,400 a month from Spotify, right? As an artist with about 20,000 monthly listeners, generating 600 to 800 a month, right? To what I was saying, with 20,000 monthly listeners, to be making $600 to $800 a month. At that time, those 20,000 monthly listeners were generating me around 200,000 monthly streams, right? And then once you do the math, you convert that it puts you right around $600 to like $800. But then you can also have 20,000 monthly listeners, and they're not that passionate about your music that much, and they're not listening that much, and you're getting like 100,000 fucking streams from them, or 70,000. And in that case, you're making towards 150 to 300, you know, half of that type of thing. So, which is where I'll prove to you later on in the video about some of my super listeners that have streamed my songs over 4,000 times by one person. And I haven't been making music for a decade or some shit like that for it to have accumulated over that amount of time. So it's all about how passionate your audience is, and how they stream your content. Look, and then you got people just being fucking negative, you know? You buried your own grave with your fake subscribers. La di di la da da blah blah. This, okay, let me help you understand why this aggravates me so much. 356,000 monthly listeners. He thinks they're making $1,400 a month. The highest monthly listeners I've ever reached was like 40,000 at a single point in my career, which I will show you. I have all the data. Well, not all the data. I have data from my own experience, you know, to prove that I'm not talking out of my ass. And mind you, my subscribers are not fake. The way YouTube works, YouTube is functioning in like as they have their shorts portion and they have their long form portion, right? If the shorts portion is doing well, that doesn't mean your long form content starts doing well. Because at the time, they looked at my shit and they seen that my long form videos and shit were getting like 100 views, if not less, and stuff like that. They didn't even bother to take the time and look at the shorts. Because I had over 200 million views, because that's what I was doing to promote my music. To promote my music, I was finding memes online. I took it, I edited it, and I put my music behind it, and then I put it on YouTube, right? And then if one of those shorts blew, boom, guess what happened? My music was in the background, it got exposure. But people didn't know me from my YouTube channel as the artist first. They were just watching these clips that I made sure was in the same niche, and so it could seem more seamless, you know, which revolved around relationships, love, They're just like, okay, this creator posts these types of content, and these are the songs. The people that hear the song for the first time and are like, damn, I'd like to hear that song again. Those are my little small wins from that. Those are the people that either find the full song on YouTube, listen to it, or they go on the streaming platform that they use, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, etc. And then they stream it on there. And then that's how I was getting my music exposure without paying. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't a bad idea. It worked. A lot of people do that. So if we go to my analytics, right? We put last 12 months. We see this year that I accumulated 1 million streams. First, let's debunk one thing. One thing that this guy got wrong is that just because they have 350,000 monthly listeners, I mean, yeah, doesn't mean you fucking go on Google and you put, or not Google, your phone probably, you put, oh, I should have left it at that. You put 0.00, let's be conservative here, 0.003 times 350,000. I'll put 1, 2, 3, I'll put one too many, right? You times it, and I guess he wasn't even being conservative. He was hoping for the best. 0.005 times 350,000, right? Okay. And then he gets his number, 1,400. That's how much they're making a month. No. Just because somebody listened to an artist in the month doesn't mean they only listen to the artist once. Right? At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that you can't just look at somebody's total monthly listeners and then get the revenue or get an idea of how much they're making from that, because there's so many contributing factors that could affect how much they make. You also have to put into consideration what the average stream per listener is. You know, a lot of the artists that we listen to, we typically, like, for example, I listen to Lil Peep, I listen to Trippie Redd. Those artists, I listen to more than one of their songs a month. You know, Trippie Redd, I probably listen to 20 or 30, give them 30 streams a month, if not more. And then Lil Peep, the same thing. So all these artists will have an average stream per listener. Mine, as you can see, was sitting around like 2.4, 2.7, whatnot. For the year, it was like 3.7. Other artists could possibly have it even higher, if not higher. And so you have to put that into consideration, because it also impacts how much money they make, because it's not monthly listeners that pays an artist. It's the amount of streams. You get paid per stream, not the monthly listener. It matters, because you could get like Suicide Boys. They were at some point making over 100 million, if I'm not wrong, a month. And they had like around 10 million monthly listeners at that time. But they were super dedicated, that audience towards them, that they were giving them streams on top of streams on top of streams for them to be able to generate all that money. You could find other artists out there with 10 million monthly listeners that weren't making anywhere close to 100 million, because their audience wasn't as tuned in or dedicated, or whatever the word might be. Going around saying these artists are broke. They're only making $1,400. No, they're not. No, they're not. If they're screwed over by a label, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. But that's their choice. They made that option. That's what I don't want other people, other artists that are thinking about making music, to be like, damn, these people have 300,000 people listening to them and they're only making $1,400 a month. You know, my second job could do that for me. You know what I'm saying? Instead of spending all this money on this, that's not true, gang. That's not true. That's not true. The possibilities are there. Cause like, look at me, right? 15,000 listeners, right? But how many streams got pulled in? 43,000 streams. These people didn't listen to my shit just once. I'm nearing almost close to 3 on average. 3 streams per listener. You know, let's say they're doing the same numbers, right? Let's round it up for them for 3, which I bet they're probably doing better than me. Okay, there you go. And then you times that by 0.003. Let's be conservative. Just, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt, you know. 3,100, just the benefit of the doubt. Now let's talk about this guy right here. Let's talk about this guy right here. I Love You Tommy, right? Indie artist. I Love You Tommy right here. 3.9 monthly million listeners, right? I guarantee you a lot of you have not heard of this guy, right? Or since you're listening to me, then you probably have, because Spotify, the way the algorithm works, the type of shit I'm listening to is probably similar to the type of shit you're listening to, because we're similar in the essence of it. You know what I'm saying? We're similar. So chances are you probably heard of it. But people that are listening to like Drake, hardcore, this and that, mainstream artists, type of thing, they probably don't. The point I was trying to make is that you don't have to be a rock star to make money in the music industry, right? You don't have to be Drake. You don't have to be fucking Taylor Swift. You don't have to be Future, etc., right? If you look at Spotify releases the reports at the end of every year, right? They're wrapped for artists, and they will tell you how many millionaire artists that aren't household names, artists that you've probably never heard of before, that have made over $1 million on Spotify. And now just imagine that Spotify is just one streaming platform amongst others. Apple Music typically pays more, although Spotify has more larger of an audience, more people using Spotify than Apple Music. But that's probably a good chunk of money coming from Apple Music as well, and all these other streaming platforms, and merch sales and shows. So if they made $1 million on Spotify alone, I promise you they probably made close to 3, if not 5, all around altogether. You know, because there's other things that will make them more money. So keep that in mind. You don't have to reach that level of success to be able to live off of music. You can be somebody that most people have never heard of before and make your money and live comfortably, more than comfortably. Here's another thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that I Love You Tommy and some other artists that are in his criteria and stuff like that, we're not making, including myself, we're not making world-class music. You know what I'm saying? We're not making world-class music. We don't have a whole team like Billie Eilish, Drake, Kendrick, Taylor Swift, all these fucking people, Post Malone. We don't have a whole ass team like them. And I guarantee you, I Love You Tommy's probably making music from home, even though he doesn't have to. He could build a whole studio at home if he wanted to, and saying he didn't get fucked over and stuff like that, could afford that. But the type of music we're making, we could make it at home by ourselves, maybe with one other person type shit helping us out, and to be able to make that much profit from it. You know, you don't have to be Drake to be successful in the music industry. You don't have to be Taylor Swift. You don't have to be none of these people. You don't have to be a household name, is what I want. That's the whole purpose of this video, is for you to understand that if you have the ability to find your group of people, your crowd out there that can resonate with you, and I guarantee you, whatever you're going through, the type of music you're making, there's a group of people out there that would appreciate that, but they might not have the opportunity to get to listen to it because of the marketing being done behind the song. But let's just say one day you woke up, right? Everyone on this planet got to hear your songs once. How many people would continue listening to your song again? I guarantee you a couple million. I guarantee you probably a couple million of people on this planet, you will become one of their artists that they listen to on a regular basis. But who has that capability? Nobody at the moment. Nobody has a capability of having every single person on this planet listen to their song once and then judge from then on if they want to continue listening to you or not. So that's where the hard work comes in, where you have to do the marketing to get your content, your songs in front of people, as much people as possible, so that you can find your fans amongst those crowds. That's the most important part. If you can nail that part down, you will be successful. And then it's just a matter of, do you pay to find your people, or do you do it in an organic manner? Organic manner is a lot more difficult than it is to do paid advertising. So, and if you're starting out where you don't have that much cash laying around, I always recommend go the organic way. Master the organic way. It's also possible. It's also possible. The money that I've been able to make a music and all that was organic. In the beginning, maybe I had spent like maybe $100, $200 on advertising, but then I seen that it wasn't sustainable in the long term based on how much money I really have at the end of the day after paying all my bills. So I decided to double down on organic growth. You're laughing at me.
Laugh at the duck?
You're laughing at, oh. What, you see me as the duck?
No, I'm seeing you with the duck.
That's crazy. Alright, so I realized for most of the rest of the video I previously recorded, I was just yapping, and I don't have the patience to edit a video with a lot of yapping right now, so we're gonna keep it short. So with 2.3 million streams, I was able to generate $7,000. You do the math, with 0.003 cents being made per stream, times it by that, the 2.3 million, it gives you right around that, right? But you gotta keep in mind, it's all about the time frame which you get those streams, right? Some people are getting that in a month, some people are getting that in a year, some people are getting that in a week, you know? So the faster you make those streams, the more money you make. Simple as that. And then you might be wondering, oh, where did the other 100,000 streams went? Since I claimed it was 2.5, that came from SoundCloud. And then I also spoke about how passionate your audience is about you will make a big difference. So the more passionate your audience is, the less of them you will need, because they will generate you more streams. You see right there, the thing about SoundCloud is it gives you more information. You're able to see your top fans and shit. So you see right there, my top fan has listened to me 4,500 times within the time frame that I've been making music. I don't know when they discovered me, but I haven't been making music for like 10 fucking years. I started making music in late 2023, and I wasn't even uploading on SoundCloud. You see, when I really started uploading was late 2024. So within that time frame, a nigga has streamed my songs 4,000 times. So As you can see, you can have passionate fans that listen to you like shit. So the more of those you have, the easier it'll be, the less of them you will need. But if you have people that are only listening to you twice or once, then it's gonna take a lot more monthly listeners to be able to generate that income. And also another thing, amongst the songs that I've made, it's practically a handful that generated most of that income. All right, so we're gonna go to a date when I wasn't making music, July 2023 to, it's always like 3 months behind some shit, to that. So yeah, go down, nigga. Shit. All right, filter. There you go. Songs. You'll see that Can't Get You Off My Mind made $4,000, the most out of it. And then you'll see the second one, I Fell in Love by Sweet Girl, blah blah blah, squash, made $1,000, and so a huge portion came from that one song. Oh yeah, another thing you also got to factor in are the beats and contracts, those type of things. Depending, if you're your own producer, you're making everything the whole 9 yards, that's great. You get to keep most of your money, if not all. But the more that you have to delegate to other people, for example, if you need to delegate to a sound engineer, you need to delegate to a producer, you need to delegate to I don't know, somebody, the master tracks and all that, which would practically be the sound engineer. Then you have to split your money more ways, or to a writer and shit like that. But so the more you're able to do yourself, the more you're able to keep. But some contracts, like for example, Can't Get You Off My Mind, it cost me $1,500. I was able to come to an agreement with the producer. And then everything after that has practically been profit. Mind you, it's not a song that's reached its peak. So many people don't know about it yet. So the potential is still there. So everything else is still going to continue making me money. So that's what it is. When you're making these songs, they're all future investments, you know, because any of them could blow up at any time, you know. And from that on, that's just pure profit, because you already put the work in. If you already paid for the beat, everything's already been set. So all that's left is really the marketing and the exposure that it gets and how it makes people feel. And I believe that's practically it. Ladies and gentlemen, we covered what monthly listeners were, how they work, that you make money through streams, not really the monthly listeners, and how you can have a passionate audience versus one that doesn't really generate you that much streams and stuff of that sort. If you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask me down in the comments, and I'll do my best to help. Much love. I'll see you guys in the next video.